Welcome to Tantrum House Studio D. I'm Kevin Delp. Imperial Settlers is one of my favorite games. Actually, it's in my top 10 board games of all time, and I've already done a video on that, and you can check that out up there. Now, when I heard there was going to be a roll and write version, I just had to check it out. Imperial Settlers Roll and Write is a game for 1 to 4 players. It takes about 30 minutes to play. It's set in the same universe as Imperial Settlers and Portal Games' new game coming out, Empires of the North, but it uses a roll and write mechanic. And they sent us this copy to review. At the beginning of the game, each person gets an Empire sheet and Village sheet. Shuffle the favor tokens and lay them out equal to the number of players plus 1. Here's a quick overview of the game. Dice will be rolled each round that represent resources and the number of actions that you can take. You're going to be using these resources to expand your empire, like harvesting and building. Now, whoever can get the most points at the end of the game is going to win. At the beginning of the round, the dice are rolled, and players each choose a favor token. They let you do things like add an additional action, gain an extra gold, which acts as any resource, harvest without spending an action, and more. This die shows the number of actions each player takes during the round. Xing out something is taking an action. You could build by Xing out the stone spot that you used from one of the dice rolled. Even Xing out a blank space counts as an action. You can't harvest this area until you've completed the bridge shown here. You could harvest and X out a wood and use that wood and one of the ones from the dice to X out this spot. There are also buildings on your village sheet for you to complete. Once you complete a building, then the ability is available starting the next round. The farm gives you a food, settlers hopefully give you an extra action, tool shop extra resources, collector, you would gain a coin if all the resource dice are different results, the fortress gives victory points, and the architects you use with the advanced game, and I'll explain that later in the video. After everyone has used their actions, then you start a new round with rolling the dice, using those favor tokens, and then expanding your empire. At the end of the 10th round, you'll count up your points to see who won. The game starts sort of slow as you're getting resources and building things, and then it starts really ramping up as you build your engine and start comboing things with each other. And this really happens in the advanced game, so let's look at those rules now. You'll add a phase after you take your actions called Creating a Settlement. You'll be creating shapes from your crossed out squares based on the different shapes on the village sheet. If you do, then you increase the number on the sheet, and now that building is more productive and more powerful for you in the rest of the game. This is where the architect comes in. If you make this shape, then you'll get 8 points for each of those shapes at the end of the game. One important rule is that the shape cannot be rotated in any way. It has to be the exact shape to count. I would say the advanced mode is the best way to play this game. Not only does it present a more challenging game, but also a more rewarding one, as you're trying to fit those pieces on your empire sheet and upgrading your building powers. There's also an adventure mode for solo play that has its own book of 48 village sheets, and each sheet is unique. I love a good roll and write, and I'm so happy that there's now one for my favorite game, Imperial Settlers. I just love all the different decisions that you can make. What buildings to build, what spaces to X out, what construction rows to go after that's best for my strategy. The art fits the same style from Imperial Settlers, which I love, and I appreciate the way the sheet is laid out, with the rounds on the one side and even a place to name your own empire at the bottom of the sheet. So I highly recommend that you go out and purchase Imperial Settlers Roll and Write from Portal Games. You need to run out to your store, your friendly local game store, and get it. And we would love for you, before you do that, to subscribe to Tantrum House.